Howdy, friends. I want to tell you guys about the Covert Short from Barbell Apparel. This is a hybrid short. It is my go-to, especially during these summertime months. It's a great pair of shorts to wear out on the range, out on the farm, working, even doing long hikes or stuff like that you don't necessarily want to wear a pair of running shorts. You want something with some structure to it, some good pockets. It's just a really well-built short from Barbell Apparel. A lot of features in it, a lot of pockets, a lot of places to put things, and it's light enough and comfortable enough to not sweat your butt off while you're out doing what you're doing, out on the range, working, hiking, whatever that activity may be. We've been with Barbell Apparel for a long time. We love them. We love their products. We love their apparel. We use their apparel pretty much primarily when we're out running with their running shorts and apparel. And even just in our everyday life, whatever we're doing, they have got something that fits well, that functions well, and they stand behind their product. So if you guys are needing some new apparel for whatever your walk of life may be or activity that you're doing, check out Barbell Apparel at barbellapparel.com. You won't be disappointed in what you get, and it'll last you a long, long time. So thanks, Barbell Apparel. You guys check them out. Again, barbellapparel.com. Well, howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 307 podcast. We got a real treat for y'all today. These are actually some of my favorite podcasts to record. It's questions and probably not a lot of answers, but questions from you guys. It's the best way that we get to interact with y'all and just hear what's on your mind, and it's always great discussion starters here around the room. And we are going to start implementing these Q&A sessions probably on a weekly basis. Hopefully it's going to give you guys a third show to listen to every week. And we're moving the question, if you guys have a topic or a question that you want to submit for the podcast, I'm not going to be doing that off of my Instagram page anymore. We're actually moving that to our newsletter. If you guys will subscribe to NUFF Said Weekly, we'll put a link in the description of this episode. That newsletter is going to have a section in it now from week to week where if you have something on your mind and you want us to chat about it and maybe share our experience with you, you'll be submitting that question there on the newsletter. So that's where that's going to be, and we'll be monitoring those questions that come in throughout the week, and we'll pick the best ones, the most meaningful ones, maybe the funniest ones sometimes, and we'll sit down and have a talk about them. So make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. I also write a lesson of the week in the newsletter every week. That comes out on Sunday. So if you notice, I don't post a lot on Instagram or other social media platforms anymore. And I love to write. I do. I love to write. And so that's the place where we've been doing that now for about a year. So go and subscribe to that.
What about Twitter? You post a lot on Twitter.
I've never had a Twitter in my life. Don't ever plan to have one.
Why do so many people say they follow you on Twitter?
I don't know. I guess it's like this. It's the same people that say they heard me on Sean Ryan's show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's happened dozens and dozens of times. I've never been on the Sean Ryan show, but
people, yeah, you have. It was good.
People somehow heard me on there.
Mandela effect.
So that'll be over on the newsletter. Another cool thing about today's podcast, we have got our producer, our podcast producer. We got a microphone at her station. She's going to be asking the questions on the show today. So a lot of you guys probably wonder, do we know what these questions are up front? Sometimes we do, but today we don't know what's coming. So Courtney, our podcast producer, is going to be asking the questions. Welcome to the show, Courtney.
Thanks.
Even though you've been here.
I've been here a minute.
You've been here the whole time, but people don't know it. That's the first time you guys have heard Courtney's voice. What am I missing? These hats are on the website. If you're listening to that, a lot of people were asking about these hats right here, and a lot of people asking where they could buy them. They couldn't find them, so we went and had a bunch of them made. for you guys. They're on the website. If you want one, it's a great conversation starter. If you just wear it out in your day-to-day life, at least it has been for me, a really cool conversation starter. And they're there if you want one. So that's a little news for you. Y'all ready to jump into this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You nervous about not knowing what's coming?
No.
Nah.
All right. Without further ado, what you got for us, Courtney?
All right. I'm going to give a disclaimer up front. I apologize in advance if I pronounce the usernames wrong.
Well, you
Chili
don't.
said that it would be fun to throw in the username.
Okay, that's fine.
But the disclaimer is I might mispronounce it, so I apologize up front. All right, the first one is from G the Ugly. 2 questions. Do y'all smoke cigars, and what is your favorite EDC? Go.
Okay. Well, I do have to say, prior to Courtney asking that question, she did not know what EDC was.
Yeah, she did ask us that.
She asked that around the lunch table today. Yeah. So, see, Courtney's getting to learn from even doing this little deal right here, man. She learned something new today. Do we smoke cigars?
I don't.
Well, I don't either, but boy, I do like to have one. I will say.
How long did you have that cigar for?
Weeks.
Yeah.
Months, even.
I think it was months, yeah. Funny story for
High
you.
dollar cigar, too.
Funny story, man. We were in Salt Lake City, and Chili, back when Chili traveled, he had a travel suit. And I guess he still has it. This ties into smoking cigars. He has a travel suit, but it's like this bright blue with like tigers and stuff all over it. I'm talking about it's got some swag to it. And we were in Salt Lake City, and we found a cigar shop, and we went into the cigar shop, and it was me, Blake, and James Ward. And we were posing or playing like we were Chili's bodyguards, and that Chili was like this billionaire, famous dude. And we bought some really expensive cigars there because, you know, when you act like you got money, you got to spend money in the cigar shop.
You remember he asked you if you wanted him to cut them for us.
Yeah.
And you didn't really know what that meant. And you were like, whatever you think's best.
Yeah, we're not cigar connoisseurs. But Chili got a cigar. He refused to smoke it. He just carried it around with him.
I'm not real big on smoking, but I do.
You would put it in your mouth, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I like what a cigar brings to you. But I'm not into smoking.
Well, the one I got.
You smoked it?
After we got done with our Alpine mission, me and instructor James hiked back up into the high country and did a mule deer hunt. For about a week, we stayed up there. And I had my cigar with me. And, dude, we were camped way up above timberline in this absolutely beautiful meadow. And, man, we would come in off of our morning hunt, and I'd sit there by my tent and take me a few puffs off of that cigar. And I'm going to tell you right now, it was satisfying, dude. I could easily get into smoking cigars.
Yeah.
I could easily get into it because it was one of the most satisfying things. But it was the whole thing. It was the scenery. It was the smells. It was we were tired, eating dehydrated meals. It was the whole thing made that sit down, smoke the cigar a real cool experience. You can't replicate that when you're just at home, you know? You don't ever smoke cigars, CB?
Never smoke them. Never have.
Favorite EDC? That's everyday carry. I'm assuming that the question is about firearm.
Yeah, they didn't specify.
Yeah, well, we're just going to assume it's about what firearm did you carry most from day to day? Cornbread.
Hellcat.
What?
Hellcat.
Hellcat?
Yeah. Yep. Every once in a while, I get a hankling. I got a S&W bodyguard. I might just swap them out just every once in a while.
What makes you like the Hellcat better?
It's just so compact. Of course, the bodyguard's 380 and the Hellcat's 9mm. I just like how compact the Hellcat is for being a 9mm.
I've never really liked 380 either.
Yeah.
It's a piddly round.
Yeah.
What about you, Chili?
Oh, I don't talk about that.
You need to start carrying that daggone Kodiak Alaskan 44 mag more often.
Well, I probably should, because you were talking about what that 357 Magnum did. That 44 would never do that.
No.
Never.
That revolver,
Built like a.
that's probably my favorite revolver ever made.
It's the most well built.
That's that revolver, it's a Smith & Wesson, isn't it called a Kodiak Magnum?
It's Ruger.
Oh, is it a Ruger?
Yeah.
Ruger Kodiak.
Ruger Alaskan 44 Magnum.
Dang,
yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah.
The reason I'm thinking Kodiak is because that's the pistol that our instructors carry
In Kodiak.
in Kodiak,
Oh,
Alaska.
that's the one.
Yeah. They carry it in a chest holster or like a shoulder holster.
I guess it's double action.
Yeah.
Double, single. Either one.
Yeah,
It's
it
got
is.
a hammer.
It is. Yeah. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Just a beautiful gun.
It actually shoots nice. Like, I mean, as much it obviously hits hard, but it's not fun to shoot.
Yeah, it's practical.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah. I actually just purchased a new everyday carry pistol. We did a video about it. It may come out before this podcast does, but I was looking for something for summertime. Quite honestly, in summertime, I'm not usually wearing jeans and belts and stuff like that. And it's difficult to carry even like a Hellcat or, a Glock 43, something that is a super compact pistol. It's hard to carry it in a pair of running shorts or something like that. So what you usually have to revert to doing is carrying it in a fanny pack. I think that's a great option. But when you go to a fanny pack, you're basically taking your EDC from what you would call a piece of first line gear. First line gear is gear that is like in your pockets or in your waistband or something like that on your person. When you take and you move your EDC to a fanny pack or a backpack, then it becomes second line gear. It's a little harder to access. There's a higher likelihood that you might find yourself in a position where you don't have that on you. So there's a disadvantage to it. But if you're going to carry even a small pistol during the summertime in running shorts, that's about your only comfortable option. So I just bought a Smith & Wesson 340 PD. It's the lightest revolver that's ever been made. Chambered in 357 Magnum. It's got a scandium alloy frame and a titanium cylinder. The pistol comes in at 11 ounces. And that's it crazy. It's unbelievably light when you put your hands on it. It's so light that you can carry it in the waistband of your darn underwear, and it doesn't pull your underwear down. You can literally throw it in your pocket. You can put it in a pocket holster or not, because with that revolver, you don't have that trigger press is so long, you don't have to worry about it accidentally going off if you just want to stick it in a pocket or something like that. And so that is my new EDC, especially during the summertime. Me and Cornbread got to take it out and test it, and it's actually a practical gun. I was worried that we weren't going to be able to hit anything with it because it's got a little 1 1/4 inch barrel, and it is so light. But we took it out, we practiced with it, and at 20 yards on a 10-inch steel, I think I was 4 out of 5 hits on that, which that was the first time I had ever shot that little pistol. And it's not a beginner's pistol by any means. You have to train with it. If you're a beginner, don't fool with it unless you're going to spend the time to get good at shooting it. The big disadvantage is obviously it's only got 5-round capacity versus like a Glock 43. You're going to have 7 total rounds or a Hellcat, you're going to have 14, 15 total rounds. So you're losing that capacity in terms of your round count, but just the convenience of this little 340 PD being 11 ounces that I can just throw it in my pocket. I'm a lot more likely to carry that little gun than I am something that I've got to put a fanny pack on, or I've got to have a belt on or something like that, especially during the summer. And the firearm that's going to save your life one day, if it ever comes down to that, is the one that you got on you. That's the one that's going to save your life. So that's the reason that I got the 340 PD. It's over $1,000, brand new. It's high dollar.
Dang.
Yeah, because of that scandium alloy frame. And you're not going to, you have to special order it. You're not going to find it at your local gun store on the shelf. But check it out, man. It's an awesome option for the summertime.
You'll carry it with 357 in it?
No, I will carry it with 38 special, probably 38 special plus P.
Okay.
Because we shot it with a 357 and it was just hellacious, dude. It was throwing frag everywhere. You basically gives you a concussion every time you shoot it. It was.
You'd have to wear iPro all the time if you had.
It was fragging us with something. I don't know what it was fragging us with.
Yeah.
It was freaking terrible, dude.
That's odd.
But 38 special plus P, a good gold dot self-defense round or something like that, I guarantee you it's going to get somebody off of you real quick. They ain't going to like it. So, good question, man.
All right. Our next question is from Grice33. And he says, I just got married a little over a month ago. Congrats. What is all of y'all's go-to marriage advice for men out there?
Whoa. We're going to let Cornbread start with this one. He's been married longer than any of us. I mean, that's a great question, man. I appreciate people asking real meaningful questions. And if you're just married, man, you're about to start what will be the hardest journey in your life, like long-term journey. It ought to be the best thing, but at times it's also going to be the hardest thing, in my opinion.
I would say be conscious of, and this is from my experience directly from me. When I was newlywed, I wish I'd have been more conscious of making sure my wife didn't feel as if I knew everything, that I was smarter than her, because I'm leading in the finances. I'm leading in the, the things we should do with the vehicles. I'm leading in all of those things, and included her more in the decision making, and not just of being, hey, this is what's going to happen because I know this is going to work. So I would say be conscious of how you deliver your conversation with your wife, and make sure you're including her on everyday life decisions. It's easy to say, well, this is really important. We need to sit down and talk to this. But things that you're doing throughout the day, it's easy to say, well, this is just how it's going to be. Deal with it. So I wish that's what I would have done when I was a newlywed.
For me, first of all, when I was a newlywed, I was a very evil person. And I had no idea how to even start on the right foot. And it's but by the grace of God that my marriage has endured, or did endure, at least up to the point that I received the gift of salvation and was able to actually start loving my wife the way I ought to love her and lead her the way I ought to love her. It's but by the grace of God that we were able to make it through those first however many years where we were both just living in absolute sin with no guidance, no direction. We didn't have people around us. We were in the military. We were gone away from home. No solid friend group, none of that, right? So that was really tough. But I guess for me, one of the best words I can give you is I guess it revolves around leadership and what it looks like to lead your wife and your family. If you can lead your family right, your wife is going to want to follow you. So it's not going to be a struggle. She's going to trust you. She's going to know you're going to make good decisions when it's on you to make the decision. She's going to want, who doesn't want to follow somebody who's leading them well? Because it enriches their lives, right? And I think a big part of being a leader to your wife, or really to anyone who you're leading, is a big part of it is doing things that empower them to do what they want to do, if that makes any sense. Making sacrifices in order to enable them to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, grow in the places that they need to grow, making those sacrifices, all right? So what does that look like? I'll give a few examples. My policy for my wife, one of the things I do or try to do is I want to provide an environment where she can choose whether or not she wants to work. I don't ever want to, as a leader, I don't want to force my wife into a position where she has to be the breadwinner or has to contribute to the financial aspect of our family. Caveat to that, there may be some seasons in your marriage where there's no way around that. All right? That may happen. It may come up. But as the leader, always be trying to work your way out of that as the husband, to put her in a position where she can be home, or if she desires to work, she can go and do that and help her pursue that if that's what she wants to do, right? Another thing, my wife has had some struggles along with me. I've also had some struggles, but my wife has had some struggles with addiction and anxiety and things throughout the course of our marriage. And there have been times that she has had to go and get help to overcome those things, professional help. She's had to go to rehabs and things like that. And as the leader of my family, it was on me to step up and create the space that she needed to have in order to go and heal and grow and overcome whatever that challenge was that she was facing. That means that I had to step up and take care of everything at home. And I had to work at the same time and keep the money coming in. You have to be okay with that, man. And then now, most recently in my life, now that we have a son, what does it look like for me? My goal every day is to make sure that my wife gets to do something for herself, apart from being a mom. And then my second goal every day is to, as the leader of my family, sacrifice myself to make sure that my wife gets as much sleep as she can possibly get. So I take the night shift at night, and I do everything that I can at night to give her as much time to rest and recover, because she's the one, her body just went through all this crap, dude. Her mind, her body, I mean, physically and mentally, she's got to heal. And so every night I say, I'm going to do everything I can, even if I'm just getting 2-3 hours of sleep a night, to know that she's going to get some good rest so that she can heal and recover. I've taken that upon myself, and I also realize that I still got to get up and go to work. I can't say I'm going to make these sacrifices, but then I'm going to kind of, slough off all of my other responsibilities. No, I still have to go to work. I still have to help cook and do things around the house and do all these things. And sacrifice to us, I think in a lot of ways, when we talk about making sacrifice for others, or when we talk about being selfless, I don't think that we really understand it until we're faced with a situation where either we we have to do it, like we have to make the sacrifice, or the sacrifice becomes greater than what we wanted it to be. So when we talk about being selfless, a lot of times we make that choice to be selfless, or we make that choice to sacrifice, and it's in a situation where we can kind of control the intensity of it. I'm going to be selfless when I feel like I have the capacity to be selfless. I'm going to make this sacrifice when I feel like I'm in a good place and I have the capacity to make a sacrifice and still feel pretty good and rested and on point myself, right? But with this new situation, it's like, no, man, I'm learning the true meaning of sacrifice and selflessness. It's going beyond really what I would want to do. And it's wearing me out to the point that you go into making the sacrifice and you're already wore out when you start. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not rested up. You're not ready for it. Like, I'm beat down and wore out, but I'm going to make another sacrifice tonight so that she gets to sleep. And if you can do these things for your wife, she's going to give back to you tenfold what you're doing for her. She's going to pay it back because she wants to follow you, man. She appreciates your leadership. And she also feels that primal instinct of her need for her husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my marriage advice.
Well, good grief. That was a very long piece of advice. I mean, two things pop into my head real quick is, for one, once you're already married, this advice kind of goes out the window, but marry the right woman. I mean, as goofy as that may sound, like that's advice I would give to someone who's not married. Now, you are married now. The most simple, basic advice that I could give, because you want advice for when a certain situation happens, right? Like, that's when you want advice, need advice, is like, dang, this is going on right now. What should I do? You know, when a specific problem is in front of you and, you know, you don't know what that is, that's not come up yet, but a variety of those will happen to everyone who's married. And it's like, the most basic advice, Chad touched on it, is to, when in doubt, die to yourself. Like, no matter what the situation is, whether it's, I mean, the numerous, the infinite options of what you will and can face, like, that's the answer to what you should do.
I wish we had the quote that your grandfather's brother shared at his funeral about others. I wish we had that quote because it was so good, man.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he said.
You remember the quote. You remember him saying it.
Yeah.
But maybe we can ask him to send that to us and share it one day.
But yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Love it. What we got?
All right, our next question is from Alec Tinter Official. You all have had an advanced ROP. Will there ever be an advanced proving ground?
Interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, we don't have it. We don't have it on the. It's not something that we're like actively planning, or, to be honest, we even put any thought into. But I appreciate you asking the question because it does spur on some thought.
Not sure what that would look like, but it might be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably come up with what an advanced proving ground would look like in about 2 hours.
Let's do it.
And yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. So we'll think about it, man.
All right, our next one is from Keith Osment Fit Coaching. How many total miles per week running do you consider enough to get tuned up?
30 miles.
Wow. I mean, you know me. Chad's able to hear a question like that and just say a number. And I go, well, for who to get tuned up, and how tuned up are you talking? I mean,
what are you getting tuned up for?
Yeah, what are you getting tuned up for? I mean, tuned up for a 100-mile race or a mile is different. I mean, Yeah, I don't know. That's super hard to answer. I mean, 30 is, it totally depends on like what the mix is, you know. I mean, if it's 30 miles a week of all easy running, that ain't going to get you that tuned up, you know. But if you're throwing some workouts in and keeping 1 day a week long, you know, 30 to 40 miles a week, yeah, that's enough to, I mean, you're training at that point, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I'll just, the way I can give you a specific number is say that for me to get really fit, it needs to be a heck of a lot more than that for these ultra marathons. But that's just me.
Yeah, it does need to be more than that. When I hear Keith say tuned up, I'm just thinking I just feel good about running. Like I just feel comfortable running. Yeah. And the reason I say 30 miles is because you kind of have to run almost every day. I mean, it's going to be shorter runs. Mm-hmm. You know, in order to hit 30 miles a week, you're going to have to be running just about every day. And when I feel good running, like about running, and my body just feels comfortable with it, a big part of that is running every day. Yeah. Just about. I mean, you know, I'm saying, you know,
30's minimum.
5 to 6 days a week. It's getting your body out there. It's lacing your shoes up, getting your body out there and putting your body through the motions on a daily basis. Yeah, it develops a rhythm. And if you're just running 2 or 3 days a week, at least for me, I don't fall into that rhythm where I feel like, okay, I'm comfortable running, you know? And so that's the reason I say 30 miles is a minimum. And you build from there and obviously peak and then come back down. But just maintenance, dude, if you're hitting 30 miles a week consistently, you're going to stay in decent running shape no matter what you're doing. Are you still running 50-miler, Cornbread?
Not right now, no.
Aren't you about to turn 50?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Not right now. We know you're not running right now.
To that?
Right now, we're about to do a 100-mile bike ride.
Well, that's easy. You've already done that.
Yeah. What? And we're going to do it again.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Well, what happened to your goal of a 50-miler before 50?
I'd planned to do this one in Kentucky, but we scheduled a ROP on it. So then I planned to do this other one, and then Mountain Mama got scheduled for it, the one in Ringo. And so then
you don't need to be doing that anyway. No. If your 50-miler is around a track 210 times, that's goofy.
Nonetheless. So then I'm like, well, we'll just see what happens.
Why don't you just get 50 miles at Mountain Mama?
Exactly, man.
In 8 hours?
Well, go longer than 8 hours.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I might place in the ruck challenge, so I might be rucking at Mountain Mama.
Okay. Well, you don't look. You set
I have a lot of variables going on.
Look, bud, you set that goal for yourself. All right. Yeah. You want to do a 50-miler before 50? Okay, you set that goal for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's freaking bull crap.
That work scheduled.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The races I had picked.
Like there's 2 options.
Yeah, those were my options.
No, there's plenty of other options.
Those were the ones I picked.
Many other options.
Yeah. But I also have to be realistic as well.
If you
I'm not driving to Virginia to do it.
If you absolutely have to, we ought to just go do 50 miles together before your 50th birthday.
And I've talked to the wife about me doing that on my birthday. If that comes.
Okay.
If it comes down to that is.
If it comes down to it, you just said you gave up.
No, I ain't throwing everything.
I just asked you if you were doing it, and you said
asked me if I was doing a race,
He said
a
no.
50-mile race, and I said as of right now, no. But I didn't say you didn't ask me. Was I going to run 50 miles?
He's
before my
crawfishing on his crawfish.
Yeah, he is.
No,
you backtracked, and now you're crawfishing on backtracking about it because you're like,
Easy
dang, I should do this.
No, we're gonna see what happens.
Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. Obviously, you need some accountability around this goal that you set. You don't say you're going to do something unless you do it, bud.
Yeah, but I never said I was doing it for sure. Y'all are putting those words.
You
in
know
my
what that
mouth.
sounds like? You know what that sounds
Y'all
like?
are
Somebody
putting-
would say that sounds like something Chili would say. Wow,
Well, maybe I'm beginning to understand Chili's perspective.
that sounds just like something Chili would say.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Good question, Keith.
All right, this one comes from Stay Weird MJ. What is your opinion on the Glock 48?
The Glock 48?
I don't know.
I don't even know what the Glock 48 is.
I don't either.
Somebody-
I
Oh, no, I don't know.
Let me look this up.
I ain't had no dealings with it.
What is the Glock?
48.
Glock
What would that even?
48. Okay, let's see. The Glock 48 is a slim, compact 9mm pistol designed for concealed carry. It combines the height and slide length of a Glock 19 with a much thinner profile, has a 10+1 capacity, and a highly concealable package that's okay. So it's like the same frame size as a Glock 19, but
less-
it's just
skinnier.
thinner. It's
Yeah.
just skinnier. I'm sure it's a great pistol, man. Everything Glock makes is a great pistol. I mean, I don't know that I would carry the Glock if I wanted something to really conceal. I don't know that I would go with a Glock 48 over a Glock 43 or 43X. If I wanted something to really conceal, because if this thing's the same frame size, grip, slide length, everything as a 19 and it's just thinner, it may be a little more comfortable, but it's gonna imprint just as much as about as much as a Glock 19 would. So I don't know that I would go with this. One of the geniuses of Glock, all of their pistols are great pistols. They're like the Toyota of firearms. Glock is. There's so many advantages to a Glock, but what they have done is genius. They have come out with so many different models and shapes and sizes of pistol. It's a great thing because everybody can find something that they like. But another thing it's done is people who are Glock fans end up constantly buying Glocks because they come out with something that's just a little bit different. That's what they did with the 43 versus the 43X. Now they got the 48 there, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll like that a little better. Let me go buy that one. You know what I mean? Don't go down the road of buying every new kind of newfangled thing that's a little bit different than what you're used to when it comes out. That's Glock's marketing strategy. That's how they make so much dang money. With an EDC, pick a pistol that you like, train with it, get comfortable with it, and carry it and stick with it, man. Because if you have all these different pistols and you kind of switch back and forth, they're all a little bit different. The sight's different. The grip's a little bit different. The way it feels, if you're switching between manufacturers, the trigger press is going to be different. If you just get one and you just stick with it and that is your EDC and you train with it, that's going to be the best option from just a training and competency standpoint. All right? So Glock 48, probably a great pistol, cool concept, but for a real concealed carry, for me, the frame size being exactly that of a Glock 19, I personally wouldn't want that to be my EDC.
All right, our next question comes from Billy Warden 72. Currently, what's your go-to shoe for trail running, especially for longer distances like an ultra?
Let's talk about this, Chili. The trail versus road shoe.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, I pick a road shoe for everything. Road shoes are so much better. They always have been, in my opinion. There's a certain variety of trail, though, where you absolutely want a trail shoe. But most people's running and hiking and this and that, you don't need that. Wet conditions, I really like a trail shoe with good lugs. But sometimes you just slip in anything. But have you come around on that to where like
Yes.
most of the time you want a road shoe?
Yeah, you turned me on to this, man. For some reason, the road shoes are so much more just overall comfortable. They fit better. The sole, the material is softer. It's man, just everything about it is a much better running experience. And I don't know if it's because probably these companies sell a lot more road shoes and maybe they put more work into creating them and better materials and all this, because the trail running community is relatively small in the running space. Some running shoe stores, it's hard to even find a trail shoe because they just don't sell that many of them. And so I've come around to that, and I do all my running, whether it's, at least for the last few months, I've done all my running, whether it's trail or whether it's road or whether it's gravel, all in the same shoe. And the shoe I've been running in is that Brooks Glycerin Max.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man, that shoe has changed my running experience. It is such a pleasure to run in that shoe. It's unbelievable. That being said, it has so much cushion. If you're going to choose to run in that shoe, you are going to turn your ankles the first few times you run in those things.
Trail, yeah.
Somehow with mine, I don't know if I've wallowed out the footbed in it or what.
It's more stable.
It's so much more stable than it was the first, 40 or 50 miles
You're
I
also
ran
just
in it.
adapted to it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. You adapt to what you run in. And, for me, I've always been a road runner and a trail runner. Like I mix surfaces a lot with my training, always have. And just a long time ago, I realized road shoes are oftentimes better, fit my feet better, more well-built, whatever. And that on gravel, dirt, soft trail with not much technicality to it, I like the road shoe performs way better than a trail shoe would on road. Like, I've owned a lot of clunky trail shoes in the past, and they're terrible on the road, obviously, if you have to transition, and they're not even great on trail either. So I will say, I'm mainly saying this for people who their version of a trail is like a little dirt path with maybe a pebble on it. Like, you're better off with a road shoe for that. But if you're on legit technical trails, you want a trail shoe.
Yeah.
And what's the best right now? I don't know, man. I've been out of the game for a long time of the trail shoe game and thinking about this, they're coming out with a lot of new stuff that I haven't tried that looks to be pretty promising. But back in the day, I really liked the Hoka Torrent, and they've made new versions of that aren't as good. Hoka seems to be going down in quality, in my opinion. New Balance is making some interesting things now. Solomon came out with that interesting gravel shoe with the really soft foam, and then that short, shallow lugs on the bottom meant for gravel. It's a light pair of shoes that seems to be interesting. I don't know what the best is. Is that even what the question was? What's the best?
Like, what's your go-to trail running shoe?
Yeah, I'm still trying to find that.
If I was doing a real technical trail race, say Cruel Jewel 100-miler or something like that, my go-to as of now would be the Hoka Speed Goat, but it's
Still
just what
would
I
be.
have the most experience with.
Yeah.
And Corn, you've been rocking those Sauconys. What are those?
The Triumph, I think it's 23.
I've got a pair of those too. That's a great shoe.
Saucony
Yeah.
Triumph.
And that's
a road shoe.
That's a road
Yeah.
shoe, but it's got enough grip on it
Yeah.
that it is great on mixed surface. Whereas that's actually got more, that Saucony's got more traction and grip for mixed surface than that Glycerin Max has on it.
Yeah, Powell, when I bought these, said, try them on the trail, you'd be surprised. And I did, and I was surprised. But I did notice that they don't like rocks. It'll tear big chunks out of them.
Yeah, I mean, especially for running fast, there's obviously a difference in need of trail shoe if you're trying to run fast on the trails versus predominantly hiking. You know, a lot of the new trail shoes now, they have the carbon plate in them as well. So they're using these more advanced high-tech foams like you're seeing in the road shoes and the Nikes and the Adidas, and then combining it with a stiffening element of the carbon plate, which in some ways on a trail could almost act like, you know, an old rock plate that used to be in trail shoes.
Which makes a big difference when you're on real legit trail.
You know, so if you've got some of these shoes now that have some of those foams like that with a carbon, you know, a stiffening element, some of those may be really good. I just haven't tried, I mean, really any of them, you know. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the same thing though, Billy, because and so is Corn, you know, because he's got this 50-miler coming up, and I've got this, you know, prospects to race again. So yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Just give the road shoes a try on the trail, depending on what kind of trail you're running.
Yeah, if you're just doing little trail runs.
A lot of people don't know that, but it's a game changer, man.
All right, our next question comes from Z Kirshner 75. You might know who that is.
Oh yeah, Zach.
Why is everyone talking about this race a year out when they're just going to lose?
Well, that's a great question, man. I mean, all of the guys that are going to come and race against me at the Don't Die in the Chair Ultra next spring are just not in the same category as I'm in. And it's unfortunate that they haven't realized that. And but I guess I get it. I'm going to have to show them. But like, there's categories of ultra runners, you know.
Yeah.
There's your, you know, guys like Blake Alvey and Keith and
and everybody's trash talk. No one mentions the dude that actually won
Michael
it last
Terciak.
time.
Yeah, well, who's he implying is going to win? I'm not even sure.
obviously the old bull.
I don't know.
I will say Mike.
Yeah, Mike Terciak is the reigning champ.
He's the reigning champ, and he's in the category that I'm in.
Okay.
But he's a little lower. You know what I'm saying? Because Mike doesn't have a number one, running documentary about him on Amazon Prime. So he's in that same category, but he's a little lower.
Is there a category above y'all?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a category above us. The one above us is the last category, though. Okay. and I can get there if I want. I can get in that category if I decide I want to. But all these other guys that are thinking they're going to come out and run next spring,
They're below that.
they're in a different category, meaning lower.
Yeah, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand they don't realize that now. They'll realize it come this spring.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm just excited to see what category everyone's in.
Appreciate the question, Zach.
All right, our next question comes from CD Tej. I love training, and I train every day. I just eat too much. How do I unfat myself?
Well, that's the old saying. A really good training regimen can't compensate for a really poor diet.
Can't outrun a bad diet. Can't
Yep.
outwork a bad diet. Yeah. Well,
almost. Some people can almost. But if your diet is crap, and maybe it's not even crap, if you're just, which it's, you know what? It's really, for some people, maybe this isn't the case, but it's really hard to eat too much of the right things.
yeah.
Like if you eat a good ribeye steak and a sweet potato for dinner at night, you're not going to want ice cream.
Oh, I will.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how hard you're training.
Yeah.
But if you're just, on an average training block, you're not going to want junk food, So it's really hard to overeat the right things. But if your diet's crap, man, I just don't think that you can out-train it because it impacts how you train and how much you can train and how you feel throughout the day. I'm thankful I've never had to struggle with my eating, but that is something Cornbread's had to struggle with. So,
yeah, man, if you're wanting to dial your diet in, you can eat a humongous amount of food if you eat the right food. If you eat the right food, so if your quantity is the problem, change exactly what it is you're eating. You probably won't be able to eat the same amount of quantity if you're eating good food.
what are some of the things that you went to when you made this transformation?
As far as foods themselves,
Yeah.
Greek yogurt, chicken breast, a lot more fruit, cut any type of drinks in them that have sugar in them out.
Yeah, that's big.
Out completely. And the interesting thing is, and it didn't take that long. Like, that's what I began to crave. You know what I mean? Is I began to crave Greek yogurt with fruit and so on and so forth, but also began to prioritize protein and carbs, the macronutrients, and something that Chili was mentioning to me, being now that I'm inching up on 3 years into this journey here, is making sure I eat after I work out, because I'll get to these spots to where I'll be a certain weight for like 2 months, and I'm up in my workouts and even cutting down a little bit on the eating or stuff like that. And Chili's like, well, man, you gotta try doing some carbs after you work out and stuff, and even doing that, eating the right carbs like cantaloupe or something like that, you know what I mean? And there'll be slight dips, and then you adjust again, and then there'll be slight dips, because when you get to a certain point, it gets really hard, you know what I mean? When you first start out and you completely change your diet, seems like the pounds sort of just fall off, because you're burning 2,300 calories a day doing just life, you know what I mean? And so you completely drop that down. Plus you're working out, so you're like, oh man, this is easy, you know what I mean? And then you get to a certain point to where your body says, okay, you either need to up this activity level and keep it the same, but then you got to figure out, well, if I'm doing more, I do have to fuel more too. So you have to find that happy medium, and it even results into like when. So now I went to eating some stuff after I work out. You get what I'm saying? Because maybe the next workout, if I don't do that, won't be near as good. The intensity level won't be there. So you just have to keep messing with it. I have anyhow. Just keep messing with it and messing with it and messing with it, and pick out some of the best. One of the best things that happened to me last year when I plateaued at like 250 and stayed there for nearly 3 months was doing the ruck challenge. That was 10 weeks of sure enough working out, and that brought me way down. And then I've lost since then. And you also learn to, okay, hey, I'm plateaued because I'm plateauing my training and my eating. Like, it worked for 2 months, so that's what I did. And now I'm wondering why it ain't worked for this last 2 months. Well, I haven't changed anything. So yeah,
You have to do something to shock your body.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make movements after you hit that plateau.
Yeah.
You got to do something that shocks your body.
that's right. Yeah,
I think one of the main things that keeps people from changing their diet, maybe not this guy particular, but man, it takes more time out of your day to eat the right foods
Yeah, it does.
consistently. You
Yeah.
had to set aside time to prepare for that. It's going to take more time to prepare the food. You're going to have to maybe be packing your lunch versus grabbing stuff while you're out. So it takes the time and discipline part. If I can, for me personally, the junk food that I do eat, I eat it out of convenience.
yeah,
Essentially, that's
Right.
the most difficult part for me, not having a dialed diet. When this dude gets in his race mode, he can transform his body. Chili can transform his body like nobody I've ever seen in my life. he can go from being pretty dang muscular and ripped to being a freaking twig, a straight twig in like 4 months. So he is doing something with his diet that's got to be like super anal.
I don't think so. I mean, that's never been complicated to me. Like, when you know the right things, then it just comes down to, are you willing to do it? And I think when people struggle with this, I know it's one of two things. They either they're confused about how something works physiologically, like they think, you know, there's a lot of misinformation, you know, a lot of confusing things out there. Like, some people think
you should just eat meat.
Yeah, like that if you eat, I think that's maybe even a common thing, is like the calories don't count if it's all from meat or good sources. It's like, well, no, that still does. I mean, just a variety. So it's either that or they're not working hard enough. They're not being disciplined. I mean, you either don't, if you're trying to lose weight, it's a legitimate goal and it's just not happening over a long course of a time, you know, like, I mean, Cornbread, you think he don't have discipline? He lost 100 pounds. I mean, people try to lose weight when and then they can't. It's like, yeah, it's either because you have something really twisted in your mind or you're not disciplined. And it's just, I mean, yeah, discipline can be hard with that, but it's really not that hard or complicated. If the losing weight thing or trying to lose body fat percentage and gain muscle and all this, it's the thing about what a lot of people say is they will do whatever they can to make it not about calories in, calories out. You know, it's like, well, I have this hormonal issue, or I have this issue, or I have this. It's like all that stuff is real and does make things more difficult. Yeah. But it doesn't change the laws of physics that say if I burn more calories than I consume over time, I will lose weight. That is a law of physics. If you feel like you're not eating, but you're not losing weight, I hardly eat anything and I didn't lose any weight over 6 months. Well, I promise you, you are not burning as much as you think. Yeah. You are not eating the amount that you think you do. I mean, like, there's no way around that. And your base metabolic rate does change over time. Like what Cornbread was talking about, you have to change things and adjust things and go harder, go deeper. When he weighed 300 plus pounds, he was burning on a daily basis from no activity more than he is now, like a lot more. So if he were to just say, I'm going to eat 3,000 calories a day from the start of this journey, I'm going to eat 3,000. And at first you could lose weight doing that. Well, if you keep eating 3,000 when you're 230, that's too much. It's not that you need to pick a certain amount to eat. You have to adjust to everything on a daily basis. Like, I don't pick a rule and stick to it. If my diet heavily depends on what I do that day. So like if I don't just say I eat 2,500 calories a day, that's really stupid. People want to do the same thing every day. I don't train the same day every day. If I do a 20-mile long run, I may eat 5,000 calories. But if the next day is a 4-mile recovery run, I'm not eating 5,000 calories. You see what I'm saying? Like, so why would you say, well, I eat 5,000 calories a day? Well, that doesn't work. You just have to take every day as a daily basis and change what you eat every day. Or you can eat the same things, but in different quantities. I mean, I don't know. People, it really comes down to training, in my opinion. Like, I don't know how on earth anybody has lost a considerable amount of weight or gets low body fat percentage or trains and did it without training. Like, diet, I mean, if you're just on a strict weight loss journey and you try to eat your way to it, the amount of help that stimulating your body with exercise gives you to that metabolic rate and kicks the furnace on, you know, to burn calories while at rest, I mean, it's so helpful. Like, you have to exercise. But anyway, we're talking about a million different things, but it's really not complicated. So you either need to inform yourself of what you're ignorant about on why something's not working, like really figure it out, or just when you know what's the right answer, just do it then.
Yeah.
I mean, just work harder.
Well, you know what? I didn't even think about this, dude, but we could throw all that advice out the window. Discipline, work harder. We could throw all that advice out the window because you can just take Ozempic.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
You can just take Ozempic, and you within 2 months you will look like a skeleton. You will look like a zombie, a dead man walking, dude.
Yeah. And then within 8 months, you'll be in the hospital because your liver don't work. You can't take a crap.
Yeah, literally everybody who decides to take those drugs has negative side effects. And we don't even know for sure what they're causing underlying. I mean,
the long-term effects of
I mean,
it,
we
yeah.
know you lose weight. Like, my thing is if you just want to lose weight and you don't care where it comes from, like, I mean, it's proving you're losing bone density. You're losing muscle mass whenever you take those drugs. Just cut your freaking legs off. You'll weigh a lot less. No, I mean, honest to goodness, if you really don't care, it is mind-boggling to me that you wouldn't just cut your limbs off, because that would lose a lot of weight. You'll be just a little pill-shaped human with no appendages.
And if that's not enough, you can cut your arms off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'd lose a lot of weight. You'd just be a pill. You could even kind of be a little fat pill, but you'd be like 80 pounds.
Yep.
I don't understand why you wouldn't do that.
Dude, there's a lot of people on that crap, dude. And it ain't it ain't no mystery, man, because the people who lose weight on these drugs, they don't look healthy. When you
lose bone density, muscle mass.
When you see them, dude, like just the color of their skin and just the way they just do not look healthy. Like it's really obvious who's using these drugs to lose weight. So I was joking about that, but it's crazy how many people are on that. So what you got, Courtney?
All right, our next one is from Mace of Spades. What one area of training outside of running has aided you on the trails the most?
Oh, that's a good question.
What do you think, Jill?
That's a great question. Number one, I would say most people that want to get better at running, you have not maxed out your running. So first of all, like until you're at the very edge of that pyramid, that pencil, you don't need to like running is
run more
running is the answer. But when you're really, I mean, you're running super high mileage, you've dialed everything in. Now it's time to say, well, what am I missing? And strength training for me doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, I think the more complicated it is, the more reps you do, the more high volume in the gym you do, it takes away from your running. But a well thought out training program that includes like just one movement for your lower body, one upper body movement. Like for me, pull-ups I like pull-ups and chin-ups, weighted pull-ups and chin-ups, but it makes even when I get skinny as a worm, as Chad said, it makes my upper body stay relatively strong.
It's the ultimate exercise.
It's the ultimate exercise. You're capable. It's all these running muscles, like your posture, when you're running and you're late into a trail race and, your back is wanting to hunch over and your this carriage, we call it, gets just tired and sunk in. Like the pull-up works all those muscles. And then for lower body, if you can, I think squats and deadlifts are great movements, but I think they have a high cost for runners. They're not really worth the risk. So lunges, like weighted lunges with dumbbells, is very running specific. It works your glute med, which most runners have extremely weak glutes. And if you can do them for your hamstrings, I think Nordic curls are like an amazing exercise. And if you don't know what that is, there's plenty of demonstrations on YouTube. You can look it up. But problem with Nordic curls is most people cannot do them without ripping their hamstrings off at first. So you have to try to work up to it. But I mean, there is nothing better than that for, tendons and strengthening your hamstrings eccentrically, and then if you can concentrically. So that's what I would say. Those are the key exercises for me.
Chili makes fun of me for doing it, but I started doing a lot of Stairmaster at the gym and incline rucks on the treadmill, and also lunges and whatnot, trying to get better stability.
Yeah.
And so I'd been doing that for a while, and actually shared it with you when the day I did it. Went out to where a run I'd normally do at Mac White Gap up that hill, and I think I do close to like 4 miles. That's my quick run, and like smoked the time that I'd been doing it. I hadn't done it, in like 4 or 5 weeks since I started doing that, but made sure I was consistent in doing that. So I was really pleased with those lunges and that, if you want to call that incline work at the gym. I mean, on that Stairmaster with that rucksack is rough, dude. And doing that Jesse Itzler challenge
On the treadmill, yeah.
on the treadmill, 15% incline, a mile as fast as you can get it. Doing that from time to time.
Well, I'll say this too. A lot of people that run mainly flat, hills are strength training in disguise. Like if you run a lot of flat ground, just implementing hills, if you're able to, is a totally different element of training that will strengthen your legs in a new way and add a different dynamic. Also core. When you've maxed out your mileage, work on your core. That is vital to running faster. You cannot have like a super weak core and last very long in an ultra very well.
Well, one thing I always try to do, and I remember this when we was training to do the first 100-mile bike ride, is you told me, you said, when you're riding your bike, if you're training, then you're always feeling pressure on your legs if you're training. So anything I do, like seriously, if I'm lifting, if I'm on the treadmill, if I'm not feeling any pressure, if I'm not feeling like my muscles are working or whatever, I'm like, all right, dude, you're not training. Like you need to either lift this thing all the way up or you need to speed it up.
I remember when you told them that.
You remember that?
Yeah, you took that way too serious, I think.
Well, time under tension is what builds strength.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where I maxed out my mileage. Basically, in all of my training, what benefits me most is running, is doing more running. But like Chili said, running on trail and in the mountains is strength training in disguise. And that's what I would say is being in, like, moving on hard terrain.
Yeah.
There is you can't get it on a treadmill. I lived in Suffolk, Virginia, where it's flat as a pancake when I first started ultra running. And I would do as much as I could. And I even bought a treadmill that specifically went up to like a super high incline just to try to get better in the mountains. It never translates. It doesn't. The mountains will eat you alive if you don't train in them. And you build a different type of fitness when you're running and moving, not even running, but just moving across terrain like that at whatever the pace is that's manageable for you. And so being able to train on real trails and real mountains and and even rocky technical stuff where you're working your entire body just to move across that terrain, for me is what makes me the best at running that I've ever been. It's never, for me, I've never gotten to the point where strength training added to my running. I've toyed around with it. I've tried it. Doesn't do anything.
It's a fine balance. It can take away from your running.
Yeah, I think that's what it's always done for me. Another thing with me though too is I put on muscle really fast and easy, and so that's also kind of becomes detrimental for my running. But I would say if I had to pick one other activity that I think would add to running, and specifically running ultra marathons in a mountain type of environment, one activity that isn't running would be multi-day backpacking. Just a lot of time on your feet with a 40, 50-pound thing on your back, and you're just moving at a reasonable pace through really difficult terrain, even if you don't run a step, but you've got that weight on you and you're doing it over the course of multiple days, will really make you strong. I mean, a lot of these guys that you see that are winning, whether it's the Barkley marathons or these 200+ mile races, or setting these new big FKTs, fastest known times on super hard trails and terrain, all of those guys were through hikers first. Not all of them. A lot of them were through hikers first, meaning they built their base of fitness through hiking the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, something where when you go out and you got that pack on your back and you're moving 15 or 20 miles a day through hard terrain for 6 solid months, it does something to your body. And John Kelly's a great example of that, multiple finisher at Barkley Marathons. And he was a through hiker before he ever started ultra running. Same with the guy who finished Barkley on the old documentary, The Race That Eats Its Young, John Figvaresi or something. He was a through hiker, and he finished that race. So a lot, there's multiple examples of guys like that. So just shows how that multiple days backpacking, covering a lot of miles, but you're not running, actually will make you better at covering a long distance in hard terrain at a faster pace than most of the people who are out there, because you just can't find anything that's going to compensate for the time in that environment on your feet. Nothing compares to it. So we'll take one more and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. When is a time that you failed your goal but learned more from failing than success? And this is from Joe Run 88.
Man, I saw that question. I was hoping you weren't going to ask that.
Oops.
No, it's good because like I've been thinking about it, and maybe I'm thinking about, I have thought about that when I saw that, because, and maybe I'm thinking about the big goals I've had in my life, and at the risk of sounding really like prideful and arrogant, I have accomplished every big goal I've had in my life, for my life. Like, that's personal goals, that's military stuff, that's financial goals, that's business goals, that's family goals. Like, I've, by the grace of God and because of his goodness toward me and what he's called me to do, I've found a way to, I guess you could say I've found a way. I don't know how it all works, but I've been able to do that. And I guess I'm thinking about like micro, I need to think of it more on a micro level. And so one of a simple one for me is when I did Cocodona. I wanted to do better at Cocodona than I did. Like, I still finished the race, but I wanted to do better at that race than I actually did. I mean, that son of a gun ate my lunch, dude. I mean, that race is brutal. Anybody who finishes that race, they have accomplished something really hard, just straight up. And so I guess I missed my goal there in the sense of I wish I would have done better. And what I learned from that, I guess, is that you never reach a level where you don't really have to specifically train hard for some big thing, some big new thing. Because what was in my mind is, man, I've been running ultra distance since 2018. I've done all these 100-mile plus races. I've done, I know how to run far. I know how to work through things. I know how to eat. I know how to drink, take care of my body, all this. So I can just go into this whole new level, and I don't really have to do anything different. I don't really have to hunker down and treat this thing like it's its own challenge. I can kind of just rely on my past experience in order to do well here. And that's really never true. When you're going to take something to the next level, I don't care how much prior experience you have, unless the prior experience is specific to what you're about to do. And in the case of the Cocodona being 250 miles, I had no experience at that distance or in that terrain and environment. And it completely ate me alive, man. So the longer you do something and the better you get at it and the more experience you have at running as a whole, the easier it is to become complacent. And then when you get complacent and you try to go do something that's on the next level and it kicks you in the freaking balls, you realize, oh crap, I wasn't that good. I got to take things seriously no matter how much past experience I have in life. So that's just a micro goal that I had for me.
That's a really good question, but it's hard to answer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good question. So I don't know why it's such a struggle to answer. I think it is for all of us. I mean, yeah, for me, I think about failing races. You know, like, I mean, I've failed a lot. Like so many times that, well, I mean, every time I've raced, I've wanted to win. And really anything I've ever done, I wanted to do it really well. And like, to me, it's always a failure when you don't meet that. Like, I mean, a failure is not meeting your expectations, essentially.
Yeah.
And I mean, I basically fail every time I ever do anything hard. Essentially every time. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think of the question just almost as a discussion around what is success and what is failure, because really, I mean, that's what failure is not meeting your expectations. And it can be easy to succeed in something if your expectations are really low.
Well, most people would consider failure not meeting the minimum standard. All right.
Yeah.
So if you look at it as far as running, most people would consider failure would be that you didn't finish the race. All right. We see it at the proving grounds when we run the physical standards test. People will stop doing their push-ups when they hit the minimum standard. We see them do it right in front of us. They'll stop doing the exercise when they hit the minimum number, and they think, well, this is sufficient, right? So I think that is the average definition of failure is not meeting the minimum standard. And I don't think you're going to get anywhere with that mindset. At work, I don't think you're going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
As a husband, as a father, I don't think you're going to get anywhere with that mindset. As an athlete, you're definitely not going to get anywhere with that mindset. Is just hitting the minimum standard, man.
Yeah. With not competing in any races or anything like that, like my perspective is a little bit different. I think, back when I was a police officer, and I'm not bragging, but I know that I was a good police officer, and I wanted to become a DRE, and I had every opportunity to do that. And said
for the folks at home, what's a DRE?
It's a drug recognition expert. You are the top of the line DUI investigative traffic patrol unit, whatever you want to call it. If you are a DRE, it's extensive training. You have to remember all the syllabus that has to do with narcotics and the way they react to your body and so on and so forth. I've always been really good at tests, wasn't scared of any of the training that it could, but I didn't stick with it to do that. And I always said I wanted to do it. It goes back to just like talking about the 50-mile race. or 50-mile run. I have so many instances. It reminds me of when you say a lot of times in a lot of the courses that we do, like, you showed up. There's people here that didn't show up. they failed. You get what I'm saying? And I've had many opportunities, like with the DRE and stuff like that, to learn to run other pieces of equipment that would have took me to different places and do different things that, of course, back through alcoholism, that hindered that process. And that's why I didn't become a DRE. You know what I mean? Because I was more interested in feeding the ego that I had at the time. And I got myself out of policing. But I would say in my failures, the things that I've learned is, hey man, show up when you think you're capable of putting yourself in that arena. Put yourself in the arena. Whether you're going to fail or not, you've already failed if you don't show up. You know.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, that's the hardest step to take, and
Yeah.
for a lot of people, especially when you're starting something new.
Yeah.
That's the hardest step to take, man. I've talked about that so many times when I go and speak too. Like, it's hard a lot of times for people too, because when you do show up, like, you're gonna be around people who are more than likely better than you, more prepared than you, more experienced than you, and you don't feel like you belong there initially. And you gotta show up and be willing to step into an environment where most of the people around you are going to be better than you in some way, shape, or form. And you got to be humble enough to be willing to learn from them, listen to them, watch them, and provide value in some way in that environment in order to earn their trust and their respect. And so then they'll come alongside you and help bring you up to the level that you need to be at. So it is a good question, man. And
Yeah.
I'm something to think about. I've been thinking about that question since I saw it. So thank you guys for submitting the questions. Again, don't forget, if you guys want to be a part of these conversations, make sure you go in the description of this episode right here, find the link to sign up for the newsletter. And the reason that we do the newsletter, guys, is not some sort of business strategy. To be honest with you, the reason that we do the newsletter is because we know that our social media platforms, be it Instagram, be it YouTube, whatever it is, those can go away at any given time, like at the drop of a hat. You say one wrong thing, or even something happens with that corporation that runs that whole platform, and it goes away completely. So the reason we want to move things to the newsletter is because we want to stay connected with you guys in spite of what these social media companies decide to do in the future with platforms like the ones that we have built. So that's the purpose there. If you want to continue to be a part of this conversation, sign up for that, and there will be a link again from week to week where you guys can submit your questions. We love these conversations, man. You always provoke thought. It helps us grow, and hopefully it helps you guys grow too. So if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Share it around, man. If you think somebody could get something out of it, that helps us out tremendously. It's one way that you can give back to 3 of 7 Project. If you really want to support us, join us on Patreon, where we do Resurrected 3 Tuesdays a month, which is an in-depth Bible study and conversation with the people who are on that live call. We also do a special podcast on Patreon called The Comms Check, where we share our lessons from the week or things that we have been struggling with in our own personal lives from week to week. So that's a really, really cool spot. If you guys want to join us over there, we would love to have you. All right. Enough said.